Welcome back. We turn our attention to the Russian invasion of Ukraine now, and Ukraine says that Russia has attacked Odesa in a third successive night of airstrikes on southern Ukrainian port city, killing one person. Odesa Regional Governor Ole Kipa said the security guard was killed and at least 8 people were hurt, including a child. Earlier today, rescuers were still removing rubble at the site of a building, one part which was razed to the ground. Russia has stepped up missile and drone attacks on Ukraine's Black Sea port and surrounding areas since withdrawing on Monday from a year-old UN broker deal, allowing the safe passage of Ukrainian grain shipments. At least 19 people, including 5 children, were wounded in a Russian strike on the Ukrainian city of Mykolaiv, while Russia attacked the southern port city for a third consecutive night in what appears to be the worst assault yet. Several apartment buildings were left with charred fronts and broken windows, and parked vehicles were damaged or destroyed. Days after Russia abandoned a UN broker deal to let Ukraine export grain, news signals that Moscow was willing to use force to reimpose its blockade of one of the world's biggest food exporters set global prices increasing. But Russia's attack of Ukrainian ports is coming with a new threat against Ukraine-bound vessels that the United States said meant that Moscow might attack the ships on the high seas. Satellite images of the military base southeast of the Belarus capital, Minsk, also appear to show increasing activity over recent days, suggesting that the construction of a base for Wagner, the Russian mercenary company behind an abortive mutiny against Moscow. Images captured by Planet Labs on Wednesday show the gradual expansion of structures thought to include tents since the base was first suspected of Beijing use in June this year. Wagner's failed June 23 to 24 mutiny has been interpreted by the West as a challenge to President Vladimir Putin's rule that illustrates the weakness of a 70-year-old Kremlin chief and the strain of the Ukraine war on the Russian state. Russia has rejected that interpretation, saying the Russian people have rallied around Putin and the military. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko allowed Moscow to use Belarusian territory to launch its full-scale invasion on Ukraine in February last year, and has since let his country be used as a base for nuclear weapons from Russia. Mercenaries from Russia's Wagner Group have started to train Belarusian special forces at the Brest military range, just 3 miles east of the border with NATO member Poland, and that's according to the Belarusian Defense Ministry. Minsk also posted pictures and videos of masked Wagner instructors, their faces covered in accordance with the mercenary group's rules, training Belarusian soldiers with armored vehicles and what appears to be drone controls. Poland, which is a former Warsaw Pact member, which has been a full member of the US-led military alliance since 1999, said it was prepared for various scenarios and was monitoring the situation at the border with Belarus. The Polish Defense Ministry also said that Poland's borders are secure. They're monitoring the situation on the eastern border on an ongoing basis, and they're prepared for various scenarios as the situation develops. Meanwhile, Ukraine's 14th Motorized Brigade fired artillery shells from US-made M109 self-propelled howitzer at Russian military positions near the Kupiansk region on Wednesday. One Ukrainian soldier said the unit will soon be using cluster weapons, having already received the controversial munitions. Ukraine has taken delivery of cluster bomb from the United States, munitions banned in more than 100 countries, but has pledged to only use them to dislodge concentrations of enemy soldiers. Russia's defense ministry said its forces had advanced 2 kilometers in the vicinity of Kupiansk, a frontline railway hub recaptured by Ukraine in an offensive last year. But Kiev has acknowledged a complicated situation in that area. European Union foreign ministers have met today to discuss their support for Ukraine, including a proposal to spend up to 20 billion euros on weapons, ammunition, and other military aid over 4 years. The proposal by the European Union Foreign Policy Chief, Josep Borrell, as part of an effort to put European support for Kiev on a longer-term footing after more than a year of scrambling to respond to Ukraine's immediate needs following Russia's invasion. Mr. Borrell's proposal is among several items on the agenda of Thursday's meeting of EU foreign ministers, whose government would have to provide the money for the big funding boost.
We will stand with Ukraine as long as it's take. Today I will convey that message in the Foreign Affairs Council, and we have to structure our cooperation with Ukraine. This is the guarantees that we have to give to Ukraine better, to establish a coordination among us that must be even stronger, not only among Europeans, but with the rest of the allies, and also with Ukraine.
Moreover, Turkey's aspirations passes through Cyprus. We expect the speedy resumption of substantive negotiations leading to a solution of the Cyprus problem. Today is a difficult day for us. It marks 49 years since Turkey's invasion in Cyprus. That is 17,987 days. This has to stop.
Meanwhile, the EU's foreign policy chief, Josep Borrell, says that Russian attacks on grain storage facilities in Ukrainian ports days after announcing its withdrawal from a UN-brokered deal to ensure supply will prompt a huge food crisis.
It is the third night that massive aerial attacks against Odesa port and infrastructure is causing not only civilian casualties, but a big destruction of the grain storage there. This is a barbarian attitude which will be taken into consideration by the Council today on the talk with Kuleba. We will have more information. But what we already know is that this is going to create a huge food crisis in the world. But there is only one solution: to increase the military support to Ukraine. If they are being bombed, we have to provide anti-aerial capacity. If the Russians are using drones, we have to provide them with anti-aerial capacity to destroy these drones. They do. But the massive attacks of these last 3 nights require from our side an answer. The answer can only be one, apart from rhetoric: providing more military resources. And that's why I'm going to present a proposal to increase, I don't want to say the figure right now, after the meeting, in quite an important way, the capacity of the European Peace Facility. This is becoming very serious. If the sea route is closed, we will have to increase the capacity of exporting Ukrainian grain through our ports, which means a bigger effort for the neighbor Ukraine. They will have to contribute more, opening the borders and facilitating transport in order to take the grain of Ukraine from the Black Sea ports. This will require member states more engagement on that. We have done a lot. We'll have to do more. They want to relaunch the negotiations for adhesion. They want to put the European agenda high on their political approach to us. That's a good news. The ministers will have to discuss how to answer to the request of Turkey. You know, the Ukrainian candidacy to the European Union has created a new dynamics in our neighborhood. If Ukraine is a candidate, it will accelerate the process in the whole Balkans, and then certainly Turkey wants also to be part of this game.